Hello and welcome to the CRM Zen Show where we talk about all things Zoho. This is episode 199. When Chase closes a door, HSBC opens a window. Recorded on Friday, May 20th, 2022 from Zenatta Consulting. I'm Brett Martin.
And I'm Tyler Colt, and let's get right on into the show.
All right, Tyler, we're going to talk about our continuing PSA announcement on Zoho Books feeds. What do we do?
Another day, another PSA, as they
Another
say.
day, another PSA. Yeah. So basically, we are. It's still broken. It looks like we're looking at a couple of months now. They've been
We're
saying 2 to
talking
3
here about
months.
the bank feeds here for Zoho Books.
Correct. Yes, I was talking about. I'm not sure if I was able to speak through that last audio. I was rambling about that as the intro is going on. So Zoho Books banking feeds specifically for Chase, TD Bank, Capital One, many others. It's kind of broken for. It broke on April 20th, so we are a month in. Zoho had said it was going to basically be 2 to 3 months, so to where we should be at 1 to 2 months. I know they're working on it. Disturbingly, though, because I guess of the outcry, rather than let people know that the bank feeds are broken, they just removed it from Zoho Books now. So it looks like they're working. You can refresh. You can start a refresh. It's not going to tell you they're broken. Just nothing is updating. We noticed this morning. I ran it on 2 separate books accounts.
We were
It's been
hoping
a
that
couple.
they sneakily fixed it and didn't tell anyone, so we did do some testing when we saw that the
Ye-
error message was gone. But
Yeah, so after 2 hours, I still don't have, or after an hour, I guess I should say. It was about 9 o'clock we started doing that. Yeah, after I still don't have any bank. Let me check over here real quickly and just maybe pray that they all just pop in and we can do a happy dance right here on the show. That would be awesome. Dun, 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 dun. No. Okay. So that's the case. So guys, hang in there. Trust me, I know Zoho is working on it. They have all hands on deck on this, and hopefully that get fixed soon. All right, and with that, let's just go into our events, shall we? Not much changed. Kind of the same events we had. Actually, a few more events have been added. So, the Zoho user group meetups in India, UK, Australia, and the USA are still going on. Actually, they just ended May 19th. So if you missed those, well, we gave you plenty of warning. Coming up on May 31st, Zoho Sign, collect payments instantly with Zoho Sign and Zoho Checkout.
pretty
That is
cool
a
one.
really cool feature. Really
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, don't want to miss that. That's on Tuesday, May 31st. Also, on Tuesday, May 31st, Zoho One for Real Estate Part 9 is going to be rolling out. And then our webinar for the month, we already did our webinar for May, right? So I guess this is our June webinar is going to be, we're going to go over campaigns and potentially marketing automation, which, 2.0 is coming out any day now. We'll see.
Ideally, they have re-released the syncs, the instant sync from CRM. Everything I've
Yep.
heard so far works great. Easy to roll over. A couple things you'll have to tweak, so maybe we'll cover that in depth on that webinar. Some good one
Yeah.
to check out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And with that, let's head over to the news. This is really cool. This is the title of our show. When Chase closes a door, HSBC opens a window. Greg coming up with a good one here. Over in the EU, man, they basically, Zoho Finance has partnered with HSBC to have a direct banking integration across the board for paying vendors, pulling in your bank feeds, all of that kind of stuff. So this is kind of going around. So a little background here. So the reason Chase is broken and the reason some other bank feeds are broken is that I'm not sure if it's worldwide, but over here in the US at least, I think maybe other parts of the world, they use a product called, was it Yodlee? But we actually got to pronounce Yodel. Yodel?
Yodel. Yodel.
Yodel. Yodel. And there are several. There's one called Plaid. There's Yodel. There's a couple others that you can use.
Unicity, I think, is another one.
And basically what these do is they go out and it's a third party service, and they have cut the agreements with all of the banks to get your bank feeds and to pull them automatically into whatever financial software you're using. Um, there's a new open banking integration that's been around for 2+ years that they're telling everybody they have to move to, they got to move to, they got to move to. Zoho didn't get moved to it in time. It was supposed to end in September. Some banks pulled the plug early. Because they pulled the plug early, that caused some problems. But you also can have direct relationships with banks as a provider. And Zoho has done such over in Europe with HSBC. So, man, I mean, this is one of those things where it's like, man, if I was over there, I would just bank with HSBC
Oh,
because
it's killer. So it looks like, again, we don't always stay 100% up to date with everything in the UK and EU. It looks like here from the article, September 21, they kind of started working with HSBC, use that for some bank feeds and then internal like taking payments. And here they're kind of expanding that partnership to include paying people, right? So if you wanted to have a bill inside of Zoho Books and auto ACH out to your vendor, that's actually now provided through this integration, right? Or if you're using Zoho Payroll, you can actually trigger the sending of money through Zoho Books using this. In the US, they actually have vendor payments supported through a company called Forte. You can use
yeah,
ACH. But I don't think they have any of the other ones here, expense, payroll, all those covered. So this is killer. Hopefully they are kind of maybe in the market to do a similar thing in the US. Because really, the more that you're able to manage all of these functions from within the finance suite, not having to go into your bank to send payments, it just makes life a whole lot easier. So
oh,
kudos to the team there for building this out. Again, that's a killer upgrade here.
yeah, this would be just amazing. I'd love to see this for, if you just go to the big banks in the US, right? B of A,
Mhm.
Chase, Wells Fargo, man,
Be
this kind of
killer.
integration would be great. Be great. Anyway, good job to the, I guess, the finance team and Europe. Nice job, team. And moving on with the news, email templates in Zoho CRM are now responsive on desktop and mobile. So it's nice. The
Really thought
iPhone.
this was already the case. I'll show my cards. If you would have asked me if these templates were responsive a month ago, I would have definitely thought they are. So this is obviously a need to have. So good job
Yeah,
on them. Better late than never. Um,
yeah, it looks like they
yeah,
weren't even responsive on desktop. So,
yeah, they've always had little issues, but I'd always kind of just assumed somewhere in the back of my head that they were at least set up to be responsive. Maybe it just wasn't perfect. So definitely a nice improvement. Lots of people do email on their phone. It's pretty common nowadays. So you got to make sure that anything you're sending out is going to read well on pretty much any device because you just don't know nowadays.
and I don't know about you, but it seems like more and more people are using smartphones.
Mhm.
It's just crazy. It's like
Yeah, it's just in the past year or so they seem like they've really become common.
it,
So it makes
it's
sense.
like,
We're keeping up to date here.
yeah, I mean, this is good to stay ahead of things because, I mean, I'm noticing like when I go to a restaurant now, I look and like it seems like people are on those smartphone things all the time. I mean, it's kind of crazy, but oh, so good, good. Glad we have mobile responsiveness. Rock and roll. Moving on, Zoho Bookings has now got a new feature: service availability and staff booking page themes. The big part of this is that you've got a dedicated schedule for your one-on-one services, and you want to have one-on-one services open for consultations only during certain times. So this is basically giving you that ability in Zoho Bookings. So there you go. It's something that is kind of standard in all booking software. So this is a good addition to Zoho Bookings. Um, and look, I've played with this software. We think it looks nice. It's got a good thing. It's just, man, if they can just get some of their synchronizations up better. And I know if you're listening, Zoho Bookings team, we're not picking on you. If you want to, when you think you've got it, send us another email. We're going to put this through the paces again. I would like nothing better than to leave Calendly and come over to Zoho Bookings.
Yep.
Thousands of
And this
dollars a
helps. I mean,
year.
we do this inside of Calendly now, right? So,
Yeah.
we'll have certain times of the day where you can book your first onboarding, certain times of the day where we're taking sales calls. So this is definitely a nice feature.
Yes.
Bookings, if you're using it as like a self-contained application, is pretty dang good. As you know, obviously bias of a developer here, being able to trigger deluge code when bookings are placed or updated or canceled is awesome, right? So you're able to tie that in other various Zoho applications. You know, you book this service, I auto send you an invoice from books. You book this service, I create a deal or I move your deal stage. You know, there's cool things you can do. The big killer on our side is just that it does not properly sync with external calendars. So if you're using something like a Gmail, the best you're going to get from bookings is a daily sync. Even then, it can be a little bit spotty. So if it's 2 p.m. and you add a out of office for tomorrow, and a customer goes to book at 3 p.m., you will likely be available tomorrow, just based on the timing of that daily sync. The way it's set up, it's syncing a calendar, whereas with Calendly, it's reading your calendar when they go to book.
Right.
Um, it's going to be a tough thing for them to fix, to be honest with you. It's a pretty foundational design choice that was made there. So,
Yeah.
but if you are managing really all of your calendar through this, then you're going to be a-okay. It's really just if you need that real integration with an external calendar where you're going to have problems.
Yeah. I mean, this is a server bandwidth issue. This is a data center issue because, you can do a sync and that
It's a
uses it.
design issue. It's a design issue because
What's a,
the way
but
they have
don't you
it
think
set
the
up, it's
design,
like you're maintaining two databases of meetings, right? And you can only sync those so often, right? And it wouldn't be reasonable
right.
to expect them to sync Google Calendar every 15 seconds, right?
No,
It's just they designed it differently than Acuity and Calendly are designed, where those are making read requests when someone goes to book you, so it's always accurate. They're not maintaining their own version of your calendar in the application, and
I
that's the
know.
big rub, you
I'm
know.
saying the same thing though, because what I'm saying is it was designed this way to limit bandwidth usage, right?
Maybe.
Because otherwise, every time I'm booking, I got to make an API call and a hit, and I got to
Yeah.
read a calendar, and then I have to do a compare, and I have to do that. And
Yeah,
you
true.
know, the way it's designed is to limit the amount of you know CPU hits, but who knows? Very good. Anyway, nice feature, guys. So good stuff. And then moving right along, you now have in WorkDrive, you now have offline support in the mobile app. This is so cool.
Yeah.
Yay, yay!
That's like I use
I love
offline
this.
all the time on my laptop. When I'm on a plane, I'll get a dock set up that I want to work on, right? And I can just sit
Yeah,
there. But now, mobile app, I would assume also on the iPad. Is that a good assumption here that you'd probably be able
I've
to
got
do
to
this
think
on the
so too.
iPad
Yeah,
as well? Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah. Well,
WorkDrive
you
is
can work
just
on stuff
better
too,
and
and
better and better in that
yeah.
tool. It's really great.
Yeah, but you can actually pull this in and save something into offline mode, and now you're on the plane. You want to work on something, just open it on your
Mhm.
iPad, make sure you save it into offline mode. You've got it. It's nice. So good, good, good stuff. Good job, WorkDrive team. And moving on, Zoho meeting. Um, they basically made some really small tweaks here to time restrictions. So on the free version, you can talk for 1 hour with 3 to 100 participants, um, which is probably more than enough for anybody, which is kind of cool. And on the paid version, you can talk for 24 hours, and when you get to the end of 24 hours, it asks you if you want to keep talking. So um, this,
I could not imagine being on a 24-hour meeting of any kind. That's brutal. But yeah, that's pretty generous, honestly, for a free edition. You get a 1 hour meeting at a time
I
for up to
know,
100 people.
I know.
That's more than I think most other meeting tools are doing. And if you're regularly doing longer than 1 hour meetings with more than 100 people, it's probably fair to pony up and get a paid version of the app.
Absolutely. I think this 24-hour one, this is for like long distance lovers, right? They just want to
Yeah,
fall
maybe
asleep.
you want to fall asleep
Good
on the phone.
pillow.
That's kind of like what
Listen
you
to
and I
each
do
other snore.
sometimes. We just use Discord when you and I want to do that. So
Shh, shh. No one's supposed to know, man. All right, moving right along. Also in Zoho Meeting, you now have picture-in-picture support on the Android version. So You could be looking at it and then kind of swipe down into other things and have nice little pip support. So very nice
Why not?
enhancement there as well. And this next one you were pretty excited about. ZeptoMail now has auto top up,
Yeah,
suppressionless
so
mail.
ZeptoMail, we haven't talked about it in a little while. It's Zoho's transactional mail service. So think like SendGrid. The idea here is, these are to send emails that are directly transactional. They're not marketing. So like a password reset email, a two-factor authentication email. Um, what they've added here, they're both of these are necessary, but they've added auto top up for your credits. So, anytime you send a ZeptoMail, it uses one credit. If you ever run out of credits, email stops sending. And so what auto top up is I could set a rule and say, anytime I'm down to 500 credits, buy 10,000, right? Don't ask me, never let them run out. Just buy them when I need them automatically. That is necessary functionality. So great job to the team for adding that. This is the type of thing that if you were running a big implementation of ZeptoMail without that, it'd keep you up at night worrying about running out of credits. The other ones here that I think are pretty useful is the exclusion list. I think they might have called it a
Yeah.
different name. If we scroll up a little,
The
suppression list. There
suppression,
we go.
the suppression list. Yeah.
You got to be able to do this. A big thing with transactional mail is that you need to make sure your list is highly, highly deliverable. So being able to suppress emails or suppress the tracking of emails, which it gets nitty gritty, but it's great that they have the two versions. It's like suppress me from ever emailing Brett or just suppress me from tracking Brett. Because based on the email client that Brett's using, those might be treated differently. Like they'll recognize that it's a tracked email and you'll get flagged. Um, so that's really nice. I would imagine that you could add to these suppression lists via API. If you can't now, I'm sure they're going to roll that out.
Yeah.
Really cool. I mean, they're adding a lot of the like need to have great functionality components here to ZeptoMail.
Excellent. And then wrapping it up, our last little bit of news. Man, I am glad to see this happening. Zoholics UK, you call Zoholics in Europe is returning. So it's not just in the UK. It's basically, I'll actually scroll this back a page here, but all of EU is going to have Zoholics events. So they're going to do London. Man, they are rolling these out. London is on September 7th. And then Germany is on September 13th, and France is on the 15th, and Spain is on the 20th, and Italy is on the 22nd. And what is Benelux? What is that? What country is that? Am I missing there? Someone want to translate that for me?
AL.
Hey, I don't know. Anyway, and then they got another one wrapping up on the 27th. Well, what big country are we missing here? Italy?
We might be
Italy.
missing.
No,
No,
I
we
got to
got
tell you
Italy there.
here.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, Luxembourg will say, I have no idea what it is. But anyway, they're going to do in-person, face-to-face events and bringing Zoholics back to Europe, which is a great, great thing. September 7th. I might fly over there. We are not, I am thinking, going to be having a Zoholics here in the US. It's normally in April. I was told they were thinking about having it in September. But I don't know if that's going to happen face to face. But kudos to Sridhar Ingar, the managing director of the EU, for pulling this off. I'm glad to see everybody getting back together, and it should be a good time. If you've never been to a Zoholics, I highly recommend you go. Zoho puts on it's amazing content, and it's so much content. It's not like, hey, go into a room and just like I can only choose one session. There's usually like 20 different sessions going on
Mhm.
simultaneously, and there's a general session. And there are vendors, and it's just a lot of Zoho love. So I don't know, Tyler, maybe we should go over to Zoholics UK and hang out for in September and just see all of our friends over there. So good time. All righty. And with that, let's go to the implementation of the week.
Alrighty, so this implementation here is kind of it's a timely implementation, given that Zoho Campaigns rolled out their new sync methodology for CRM. The big new thing, or one of the big new things with how campaigns is working and kind of the direction it's going, is that you'll need to associate your contacts with topics inside of campaigns. And a topic is basically how you would organize a certain type of marketing material. So you might have, two different services that your business provides, and you could create those as two topics, and then only people that you have assigned to a certain topic would be eligible to receive marketing from that type of content. So it's a need to have. You have to organize contacts into topics. But oftentimes you really want to define their topic based on data that you have in the CRM. In this case, we set it up with tags. You could use, a pick list, multi-select pick list, really any of those other types of options where you're identifying a type or a parameter against one of your CRM contacts. Then what you'll do is you'll sync all of those contacts into a master mailing list. Again, the way that the new sync for campaigns works is you're pulling in all of your contacts and then you're going to segment them in campaigns rather than doing the custom view to mailing list method that they had available before. So you're syncing all these contacts into a big mailing list. You've pulled in any of those parameters that are going to group them into topics. So again, tags in this case, your standard CRM tags. And then last but not least, use a Zoho campaigns workflow. Most of the time, these are going to be used to actually send out emails or send out SMS automatically, but they actually do a whole lot more inside of campaigns. You can build workflows like this one that don't actually send anything. They just, update data, associate topics, do those types of internal actions. And so in essence here, we're just running a campaign workflow that's going to funnel all these different contacts based on their tags that they have associated and get them associated in the campaign side to whichever topics match their CRM data. Then from there, you'll be able to mail them on a one-by-one basis, if you want to create a specific campaign, or drop them into ongoing workflow kind of drip sequences to do some of your outbound communication. This is an implementation that I think maybe Wayne, someone on our team has this on their list to make a video on this that will actually go on to YouTube. So be on the lookout for that. It is a pretty significant change that they've made to how CRM and campaigns interact. It is a change for the better. It's great. All of our testing so far, it works really well, but it just requires some of these new little features that you'll need to tinker with to really be able to get the most out of it. So keep an eye out for this one. It'll probably be one of our tips of the week here coming before too long.
It's actually our tip of the week this week. We're
Perfect.
going to talk.
Okay. Well, I didn't
Yeah.
even know that. That's even better.
Yep. It would actually drop yesterday. So we're going to talk about how to do that and go through all of that. So it's good stuff. Campaigns is it's a workhorse. We love it. We use it. It's great. Our
Yeah.
newsletter goes out on that. We do all of our drip campaigns on that. It's just rock solid, and I love to see them. It gets better and better and better. They released
It
this.
has. I mean, it's done a lot better this year. Like they
Oh,
they worked a lot on deliverability. It's much more deliverable now than it used to be. They've been getting a lot tighter on their internal controls of blocking their own users if they're behaving badly, right?
yep.
And that's helped their IP standings to end up in spam much less often. Working on these CRM syncs. I mean, they've got a lot going to really just continue to improve the product.
Yeah, and the marketing team, we ran some tests about, I don't know, 3 months ago, where we did a MailChimp, a Constant Contact, and we basically took the newsletter, I think, offline, and we ran it off of campaigns. We ran it through MailChimp, we ran it through Constant Contact. Deliverability was exactly the same. Opens were exactly the same. We were just kind of running
That's
some
what you
tests,
want to
how it
see.
would look. It was click. Very slick. Very slick.
Yeah.
All right, with that, let's go to our co-chair over on Club Zenatta. As Greg says here, null happens, man. Null happens. So this is a little bit to help. So if you write a really nice script and it's just running perfectly and you test it and you test it and it's great, and all of a sudden it breaks. Why did it break? Well, because null happens. And what that means is it was
Mhm.
looking for something that was supposed to be there. There was nothing there. And so the whole thing said, well, I'm just done. I'm quitting. I'm going to go have lunch. And
Yep. Yeah,
breaks.
so
Want to
this is
talk about
kind of like a best practice thing. Doing null checks is not sexy, it's not a very fun or sexy code to write, but it is very, very necessary. Zoho, a good example is if you're going to do math on something, I want to take my invoice total, and I want to take my cost of all items on the invoice, and I want to do a ratio on those. Any type of math operation on a null value, it will not treat that null as zero. It will treat that null as the end of the function, and it will stop an error out. There are a couple cases too, working with text data, where null values will actually cause the function to completely fail. So as a best practice, you want to be null checking almost everything that you get in your code. If code is erroring out, like Brett's saying, it's one of the most common reasons that there's an error being thrown. And the last kind of important thing to think about with null checks is just that, any field in your CRM that is not set to required, a user might forget to fill it in, right? And so just having the understanding of how to work with nulls, how to notify people around them, and how to have the function keep running, even if there is a null value, is a super important kind of foundational knowledge.
Yep. Yep. Good. This happens, even happens to us. I mean, we just made a whole bunch of changes, massive changes to our auto proposal generation internally, where
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, hundreds of fields are being looked at, and it broke, and I figured that's what it was. I just didn't know where. So
Yeah,
I wrote over to
it
Lucas.
was.
Hey, Lucas. And Lucas like, let me go take a look here. Up. Yep. I found it, fixed it, and did a null trap. And
Yep.
there you go. And by the way, from the chat room, thank you very much. Benelux is an acronym for Belgium, BE, Netherlands, NE, and Luxembourg. So that's what that was
Got
for.
it.
So Maggie Vitali, Vital, I'm going to go with that. Hope I just screwed up your name there, Maggie. But thank you, Maggie, very, very much. Appreciate that. All right. And with that, let's head on. Actually, before we go there, let's talk about Club Zenatta a little bit. If you're listening, you're watching, if you haven't been to Club Zenatta, it's going off, man. I'm telling you, it's just all kinds of stuff all the time. People are over here, they're posting. I'm loving the engagement. I want to thank everybody so much who's been participating and joining in. What are we up to now? How many people are playing in this forum? 310 people. You know, over on YouTube, every time we get 1,000 subscribers, an angel gets its wing. And on Club Zenatta, every 100 subscribers, an angel gets its wings. So if you want to, all these angels are in heaven, walking around when they should be flying. Help them. Help them. Go over to Club Zenatta, join Club Zenatta. That's what I'm talking about right there. And with
There you
that, let's
go.
get to our read of the week. But I lost my mind, Tyler.
Yeah, that's a pitch if I've ever heard one.
It's all for the angels, man. Some people are all about the children, not me. No. Bye, boys. I'm done with children. Anyway, all right, moving on. Here's a great article from Customer Think. I really like this. This is from Lynn Hunsaker. Customer experience leaders can learn from baseball. And man, she goes all in on this analogy. She's basically tying it in for a true customer experience. So you've got your customer experience CX, you've got your employer E experience EX, and your partner experience PX. So how do you put it all together? You're taking care of your partners, you're taking care of your employees, you're taking care of your customers. What's their overall experience? How you can do it? And it's really talking about all the positions, not only on the baseball field, but in the dugouts and the coaches on the field and everywhere. And the general manager running the baseball team. Yeah. Anyway, I thought this was really, really clever, very well thought out. I mean, even the team physician, for goodness sakes, it just great, great, great stuff. So take a look at this article over on Customer Think. Well done.
Yeah, definitely kind of an off the wall way to frame all of this information. But I always wonder how they come up with these ideas. I'm impressed with blog writers because they got to keep writing blogs, and so they got to keep coming up with clever ideas. And this is a fun one to read through.
Yeah, this is It's well done. So good job over there. Customer thank Lynn Unsker. Great job as well. And with that, let's check out what's happening over on Zenatta. Benefits of a templated website. So, it's a little self-serving. We're rolling out templated websites for some clients who want to do some stuff, and it's really actually very cool technology. You fill out a Zoho form that just but they can actually be templated websites. Can actually be pretty. They look absolutely fantastic. So you can build it. You can have kind of an auto-built site. You can buy a template. You can have someone build it from scratch. In this case, they're kind of talking about buying templates. So if you're using WordPress, you know, you buy that template, and it just can give you such a professional look and feel across the board. Um, and there are oftentimes we talk to clients, Tyler, and it's like, they've got this website site. No, we're not on WordPress. We're on this, and they're on a whole custom system, and their entire website's been built from scratch, and they can never make any changes to it. They can never do anything to it because it's not really a very friendly, content management system. So this kind of addresses that, and check it out. Good stuff. And we have an entire web services team there to help you. Should you need any help with that? So that's what's going on over on our Reads of the Week. And as always, if you just head over to Zenatta.com, that's where we kind of have, all of our services. Our resource library, I have not talked about this in a while. We're constantly updating it. We're making a lot of changes to it. This is where we tell you our thoughts on various Zoho apps. And if you click into those applications, all of the resources we put together, we're actually in the process of reformatting this. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'm showing the CRM. We have broken down and are constantly updating all of the various, how-tos, getting started, the basics, all the videos that we've put together as a team over time, all the articles we've written. You can click through any app, get information on it, get going with it right away. I had a client saying, man, I really would like to see a demo of CRM and what's possible there. And I said, well, we've got this video called our CRM Full Product Tutorial 2022. It's an hour and 2 minutes long, and we pretty much cover everything you'd want to know about using CRM. And we update. There are a couple of these, Tyler, we do every single year, right? So it's like we
Yep.
always got to do a Zoho one. We have to do CRM. We try to mix others in, especially because there are some of their key products. They just change so much, right? There's
Yeah.
so many enhancements that we have to cover it. But if you haven't checked out our resource library, you should. Also, people ask us all the time about bundles, like, hey, what's this bundle should I use? We've got all the bundles here, and you can just kind of click through any bundle and see what's in it and how much it costs and what the advantages are. And then this is just going to take you straight to the resource library as well. So, and then the CRM Zen Show, everything around the CRM Zen Show, every episode, every show note. You're like, wow, I really wondered about that. You don't have to go search through YouTube. If you go ahead and you basically click into the show, this is pretty much our newsletter that goes out every week. So you can kind of get it here and, where was that newsletter? What was that about? And these are also fully searchable, which is really, really nice. So you can, when you're in here, you can search by category. If you're search here, you're just searching CRM Zen Show. So you can say, hey, I thought they talked about this or that. This is going to kind of narrow it down for you, and you can jump right to it. So kudos to the marketing team, the web team. They spent a lot of time upgrading this and constantly keeping this up to date. So if you haven't been over there, that's my big pitch today over on Zenatta.com. And with that, let's head over to our app of the week. So this is a cool one, Tyler. I've got my strides, which basically is like a activity tracker. It's a goal tracker, right? Like you've got to, hey, I want to take my vitamins every day. I want to work out for a half hour a day. I want to do those kind of things. Um, this is one called Do, which is, I maybe not things you want to do every week, but man, you just want to quickly set an update to remind you that you need to do something, you need to be somewhere. Um, and I played around with this. This is the quickest, coolest little way. Kind of keep it off your calendar. A lot of people will use this for calendar. Maybe you miss an alert. You're not going to miss an alert with it. It's got, you can change it directly from the screen. You can auto snooze it. A really, really slick application. So if you're looking for a really good reminder app, something you can quickly, hey, I don't want to forget to do this at a certain time. It's just super quick. It's got nice timers. Um, it's a slick little app. So I would suggest you can go ahead and give this a try. It's only for Mac. So if you're an iOS user, I'm sorry, but it will work not only on your iOS devices, but it'll work on your Mac as well. And a really cool application. Also, if you're a Mac user, this is interesting. You can buy this standalone. So if you go to the App Store, you can buy it as
Mhm.
an app, but it's also part of a bundle called Set App. And this is $9.99 a month, so it's a subscription. But they basically have just got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of applications that are part of Set App, and you can kind of go through, every just does hundreds of
Yeah, it's pretty
applications.
interesting. I was poking around with that. It is interesting. They've like bundled just a million things here under this little subscription that they're charging.
Yeah, so you're getting the paid version of all these apps, which would have to be, I don't know, hundreds and thousands, if not thousands of dollars a month if you were to buy these, or a year to buy these. So for 120 bucks a year, you get all of the app. They've got some of the major applications that are in here as well. So if you're a Mac iOS user, check that out. I didn't do this. I might want to look at it. I've got so many apps that I need. I just kind of buy the ones I buy, kind of thing. But
Mhm.
I really do. I have to tell you, this application is just a winner. So check that out. And with that, let's get over to our tip of the week. So Tyler, this is a pretty major change. Wayne has basically given us a nice overview of how to set up the new campaign sync. Have you played around with this a bit? I mean, it seems to be much more powerful than the old sync.
Yeah, I mean, it's a sync now. It's not like a one-time poll. In the past, the campaign sync was really it was a poll masquerading as a sync because once something had been added, it would never really be, well, not never, but it wouldn't consistently be updated into campaigns if something changed on the CRM side. This new sync is significantly better. It's updating data properly, right? It's pulling over everything. I think it's set up to run on an instant basis or a near instant basis. It
Yep.
is just a different methodology, though, right? You're not list based anymore. You're segment based, right? So that'll be kind of a learning experience as you go in and set this up. But I think Wayne does a great job here at kind of walking through, what you all need to do to actually get this turned on and then migrate some of your existing syncs over.
Yeah, so this is he's got getting started, setting up topics, activating a new sync, creating a segment, and using a segment for a campaign. So everything you need to get started with that new version. And as always, if you head over to youtube.com/Zenatta, you can find all of our videos. We are 150 subscribers away from 5,000. Be nice if we could get that by our 200th episode. That would be pretty good. So all you have to do is head over to youtube.com and click on subscribe, and there you go. And by the way, our 200th episode next week, very special episode. You're not going to want to miss it. Got all kinds of good stuff lined up for that. So, and thanks everybody for hanging with us for almost 4 years now. So we appreciate it. And with that, Tyler, let's get on to some Q&A, shall we? Major Obaro. God, if his last name was Domo, that would have been cool. Anyway, Major Obaro says, hello. How does books relate with CRM? That's a very interesting question, Major. Um, Exceptionally well. Basically, when you set up Zoho Books, you have a choice when you integrate it with the CRM. We talked about this on several occasions, but you will want to get rid of, all of the CRM finance modules that are native to the CRM and replace them with the books. You then have an entire finance section where you can have your estimates and sales orders and invoices and all of those kind of things. They show up in a related list on the side. products get linked with items in books, all of that stuff. Basically, everything talks to each other. Your vendors get added over your clients. So for invoicing, they're just all there. It's an excellent integration. And you also can work a lot of magic with scripting once you have CRM and books set up, right, Tyler?
Yep. Yeah, they kind of store each other's reference IDs so you can start something in the CRM in a piece of code and easily match it over and make an update into books. A lot of people use this as well because on a deal in the CRM, you can actually send a Zoho Books estimate or invoice just directly through that deal interface. So it creates a pretty smooth process for your sales team to be able to actually send out books records without really needing to go into Zoho Books where you might not want them to spend a lot of time.
All right. And then Joe Fred asks after watching the Zoho Books product tutorial 2022. I have an e-commerce store in BigCommerce to integrate with Zoho Books for accounting and inventory management. What do I get by adding Zoho Inventory since Zoho Books already has inventory tracking?
Yeah, it's a good
Just a lot.
question.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, it's
you get
enhanced functionality, right?
better functionality. That I guess there's two main things I would say that you get from Zoho Inventory. You get proper tracking of physical stock. So with Zoho Books, the stock keeping is based on accounting stock, and it might display a physical stock if you're only on Zoho Books, but it isn't really. It's just always going to be the same as accounting stock. Basically, your accounting stock is based on cash in, cash out, right? So once you've invoiced something, it's out of your accounting stock. Once you've created a bill for something, it's into your accounting stock. With Zoho Inventory, it adds a couple extra modules that allow you to properly track physical stock. So when you ship something with a shipment record, your physical stock goes down. When you receive against a PO, your physical stock goes up. So it does allow for kind of a different style of inventory tracking. Physical stock is basically supposed to match what you have in your warehouse, whether you've sold it or not. Some people care about that, some people don't. The other side of it is Zoho Inventory is going to allow you to create packages and shipments against those sales orders. So when an order comes in from BigCommerce, it'll create a sales order inside of Zoho Books slash Zoho Inventory. And with inventory, you can then actually create a package from that, tie that package into UPS, USPS, Easy Ship, whatever, right? Generate your label, mark it shipped, track that process. So it just kind of gives you more tools to track like the physical side of your accounting, like where stuff actually is, what's been packaged and shipped. So if you do need some of those features, you'll want to take a look at inventory.
Fantastic. And Artie Beatty asks, oh, by the way, I will not give this person's name away, but we were communicating the other day. This is the person's initials, RTBD. And they go by this nom de plume. I love it. So, Artie, and it bums me out, dude, because I just would be Brett Wayne Martin. Blim, blim. No, you can't do anything with blim. I mean,
No,
what your TC? Yeah, yeah, that
I
could
can work
work.
with that.
You could work with TC, blim, BM, boom. There's nothing there, man. Just doesn't work. Anyway, Artie asks, can you connect books after using CRM financial apps without losing data?
You're talking about using like the CRM quotes, CRM invoices. Oh, that's going to be a bit of a bear. Not natively. I mean, you wouldn't lose your data, I guess is what we should say. You could choose not to remove the old financial modules from CRM, but it's not going to move that data over to books for you. Where there's
Would
a
you
will,
write a
there's a
script?
way. I'm sure you could pull it all through analytics or run a scheduled function and move it over, but it's not going to migrate it natively. That being said, you could just leave them on, right? So if you say, you know what, I don't need all that old stuff in books. We're just going to save this old data over here. We're going to forget it ever exists until we need it. And on a go forward basis, we're going to use books. You could do it that way. But yeah, so it won't delete your data, but it will not move it over for you.
Yeah, I mean, you could, like you say, write a scheduled function to move it over, or you could do something like dump it in analytics, push it down to books, but then you're still gonna have to reconcile everything. So,
Mhm.
all it would just be a whole bunch of invoices and a whole bunch of all those kind of things you'd have to go through and manually reconcile. Well, you wouldn't have to do anything with your quotes. There's kind of a follow up here, but you would with your invoices. You could push them all over, but then you're going to have to mark them as, it would be a little bit of a pain, but you could do it. All right. Maggie asks, how does Zoho inventory work for a service-based business? Is there an alternative? Can you recommend any other suite of Zoho products?
I'd say if you're service-based business, I mean, you probably just don't need inventory. You're probably just using Zoho Books. We're a service-based business. We use CRM and Books, and then a custom app for our fulfillment and client portal. But yeah, I mean, if you're just doing services, you probably just don't need anything that's sitting in inventory. You're not going to package anything, those types of actions. So you'd probably be good just focusing on Zoho Books, kind of invoicing from your CRM deal as you're, defining that service, sending it out of Books. They can pay you digitally there. But yeah, you probably just don't really need it, would be the answer there.
Yeah. I can't parse that. Greg goes, you would be Beetle, what? Beetle?
BWM.
BWM. Oh, BWM. Oh, very good. That's BW, right? Brett Wayne Martin, BWM. Okay. Thanks, Greg. Appreciate that. All right, everybody. That is it. Episode 199 is in the books. I am getting on a jet plane and I am heading out of here, Tyler. I am off to Zihuatanejo, Mexico for
Your
my
anniversary, right?
anniversary. Yes, and our next show will be live from Mexico. Yes, even on my anniversary, I am that dedicated for episode 200. Be there. So
Can't quit.
I'll see. I know. Hey, if you want to get in touch with us, head over to clubzenatta.com, ask us a question there, or head over to zenatta.com if you want to book a meeting with us.
And on the website is where you'll find complete episodes as well as show notes with links to all the stories we discussed today. We'd love if you would follow us on your favorite social media platform and subscribe to us here on YouTube, as well as your choice of podcast app. We'll see you next Friday.
And I'll answer your question real quickly, Maggie, as we go out. You do it under products and items. So it's items inside of books and it's products inside of CRM, and they sync with each other. That's where you store your services. All right, everybody, have a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.